Hello, my name is Sean Soria, and I am here with you today, March 25th, 2018, for special issues in criminal justice to do my docu presentation. I'm going to be doing it on CNN's Unwelcome Muslims Next Door by Soledad O'Brien. It was published August 18th, 2011, and it's a pretty interesting documentary film because it brings about what really happened to these peaceful people that just wanted to live here in America and be able to have a life just like you and I. A lot of people here uh, after 9/11, and even before, looked at the way they practiced their religion and how they managed or went about doing things as a people, and people here in America didn't agree with them and they didn't like them. Now here in America, we definitely have a great country to live in because in other countries, some people take for granted the constitutional rights that we were given. A lot of other countries don't have things like that. You'd be arrested for trying to show your point of view in some places. Myself, as a veteran of the Air Force, I got to visit some of these Muslim countries, and I can tell you that the life that they live there is a hard one. They do a lot of things to try and support their family. They have to be watching their backs because there's so many people there, talking about terrorist organizations and even just criminal organizations that will pounce on them and attack them for their goods, for um, anything and everything that's going to make them bow to those people so that they can get a piece of what they have. Um, it's it's not a great place to live, but with the people that I've talked to and the interactions and friends that I've made over there, it's definitely one that they live the way they want to. There's nobody telling them how to live. They don't, there's nobody out there to criticize who they are because for them they're all the same. Have each they all have villages and they each talk together. They have family functions together. I mean, it's just a community amongst all the villages, and even then, if people need help with anything, they'll drop everything for their neighbor to help, whether it be plot the fields, build a brand new wall, be able to help out help out with the children. That's just the kind of people that they are. Now, yes, some of them are radicalized and have a different point of view about us here in the West, and not only us, but people in Europe and other countries. Obviously, because other countries have been attacked, not only ours. But here in America, you know, a lot of people that you can talk to, especially veterans. There's a majority of veterans here in the country after they serve, and you know, we fought for everybody. We America since World War One has been the global. How can I say it? Well, I wouldn't say protector because we're not the police of everybody, but we're just this light. We're this light for the rest of the world because anytime that they had a problem, we would go and lend a hand. We'd help them. We'd show them how to do it. We'd be there to watch them do it. We'd try to support them and equip them so that they can do things on their own and be able to thrive as a country, nation, whatever it may be. So for us here, when we come home, you know, we fought for people to live in peace. That's what. Anytime anybody you talk to anybody joining the military, they got in the military to live in peace. There's people that, uh, there's people that will come after me, many generations until I die, and we all pass on. It doesn't matter. People will take over for us to defend our great nation against enemies, and that right there is what really sets us apart. And for us, when we fought these, um, I don't want to say Muslims, but when we fought those terrorist organizations, I got asked a lot of times, how do you feel about sitting next to one? It doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. It's just like in Unit 3, the intersection of class, race, and gender. There's so many people that are so close-minded, during that discussion or during that, reading that or in that unit, that don't want to open up their eyes to something new. They don't want to have to learn something new because they're comfortable with where they are already. And for me, I'm not, gonna shed a tear of hate towards any group. It doesn't matter. Here in America, we're Americans. If you're an American, you came here through the legal process, and all you want to do is live in peace. I'm with you. I want to live in peace as well. Um, this is the land of the free, land of the free, home of the brave. And a lot of people around the world see the United States as a beacon for safety, for freedom, for to be living in peace. From these other countries that they came from, where they had to follow so many rules. For instance, the whole thing with ISIS right now, it's bad. They went through some real hardships, and I mean, the loss of life from them was horrible. And these people were just normal people that didn't do anything. They just want to live. All they want to do is thrive. That's it. So, you know, it, most of them that come here just want to live. They're not bad people here. They just want to live in peace. Now, do people have the right to think what they want? Yes, they do. They can think whatever they want, do whatever they want. It's their right. They can exercise it. You know, a lot of veterans fought for it, and that's how we are. We're not gonna be towards that in any way. Here in the film, in the documentary here, they purchased a piece of land, and they went ahead and started their process of building their mosque, their own, kind of like their own little village type thing that had all these kinds. They had a pool, and a school, the mosque. It had, I think it had a dorm or something like that. It had a funeral, it had a burial ground. It was just open land just to live, just like you and I would. And people went out there and vandalized. They started a fire on one of the construction equipment. The FBI got involved because that's arson, and that's a domestic attack towards these people. So those some people just push things a little too far, and people just need to mind their own business. Because those people, I guarantee, if you took something away from them, or if you criticized them on something that they liked, they would get mad about it, or they would be feeling some type of way about it. But I mean, most people that don't share those same beliefs about if they did it to me, how would I feel? They don't do those things. They don't think about those things. Because these people, they have children too, just like us, and nothing pisses off somebody more when it comes to scaring children. That's not what we do. That's not how we are. We are protectors of children. We're not we're not destroyers. And that's what most people here in America, don't understand, is that when they come here, just let them live. Let them do what they want. We have organizations that if something were to arise, they would know about it. For instance, like the FBI and CIA, and other three-letter agencies that I can't mention. Um, so for them, it was a feeling of being oppressed. It was a feeling of being oppressed because they just wanted to they just wanted to have more space, more room to practice their religion. And here in America, we have a practice of religion. We have the free practice of religion. Like, that's what we have here. So we can practice whatever we want, wherever we want, and no one can take that away from us. And when they got vandalized, and when they're being called terrorists and killers and all this stuff, that comes back to Jim Crow. Jim Crow, along with Unit 2, Framing Justice and the Pursuit of Justice. Because, with Jim Crow, a lot of people were oppressed. A lot of minority people were oppressed, and almost in the same terms, it's the same thing as these Muslim people here. They feel oppressed, and it should never. And while it's not the same as the Jim Crow era, they can kind of relate because they were both parties are feeling oppressed. One is obviously more than the other because of times back then, but in the Framing Justice and the Pursuit of Justice, these Muslim people they called the cops when they heard shots being fired on the property and the fire, and all they want is the same things that we would want when it comes to when you and I call the cops. We want the people responsible. We want them brought to justice. Some of these people here, and some I'm not saying all cops are bad, but we know the reps with some cops. I do support law enforcement and what they do, and something like this, a lot of someone might not take the same initiative as if it was just a normal American, which is sad to say, but there's really nothing there that you can do about it unless you just fire them, get the evidence, and you fire them. And it's really bad when they're not welcomed in a community. If we walk into a place where we're not welcomed, we know it. We know it automatically that we're not welcome. And that doesn't feel good, especially for everybody to label them as terrorists when they don't even know who these people are. They don't want to give them a chance. They don't want to, have a common ground. Like, hey, we won't bother you. Just leave us alone. Leave us in peace, and we'll leave it at that. So, there's a lot of hate crime going on with a lot of these Muslim people, especially after 9/11. That really pushed it over the edge with the Muslim community here. And, and some of them, it wasn't their fault. They were just here. They just happened to be Muslim when the towers fell. And that automatically, triggered people here in America. And, it's fine. It's what happens. People make assumptions out of anger. People make, statements out of anger. And really people just need to take a step back. I have some pretty good friends that I've met over there in the countries that I visited. And those people, once I became friends with them, and we would joke, they were right there next to me, in the firefight. They were right there next to me. They were carrying me, They stopped. They saved. They would put pressure on on an injury. You know, they were your brother. It doesn't matter where you came from. We were fighting together, and we created a bond together. So that just goes to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, who you are, what you practice, what your belief is. If you get to know somebody and you get to see who they really are, you might be blown back away because you might figure out that you have something in common. You have traits that are the same, and you might even have some beliefs that are the same. So I'm gonna leave with, here in America, it's the greatest country on earth, and here nobody should be in fear of practicing what they believe in, and how they practice. It's the greatest country on earth.